Hello and welcome to News at 6 on Rajya Sabha TV. I am Aishwarya Kapoor. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will join a long list of world leaders when he walks up to address the joint session of the US Congress tonight. That is the big story this evening. We'll tell you what to expect, that and more national, international, business and sports news in the next half an hour in this news bulletin. First up, the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the joint session of the US Congress will become only the fifth Indian Prime Minister to do so. As speculation over Rahul Gandhi's elevation as Congress President mounts, the party says the decision will be taken soon. Southwest monsoon arrives in Kerala and Lakshadweep to reach Maharashtra in 3 to 4 days. And Bernie Sanders refuses to concede defeat in the Democratic presidential race, even as Hillary Clinton clinches the party's nomination by clinching 4 primaries. Well, the big story this evening, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address a joint session of the US Congress later tonight. The address is one of the highlights of the Prime Minister's US visit. Now, he will become just the fifth Indian Prime Minister to speak at the US Congress. Modi will then leave for Mexico for a brief visit before winding up his 5-nation tour. Here are all the details.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will become the fifth Indian Prime Minister to address the joint session of the US Congress. Invited by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Paul Ryan, Modi's address will tackle issues ranging from climate change, terrorism, defense and security cooperation to trade and economic ties. On Tuesday, India and the United States issued a 50-point joint statement in which the US recognized India as a major defense partner, putting it at par with America's closest allies. In a big boost to India, President Obama also came out in support of India's bid for the Nuclear Suppliers Group's membership.
We discussed, in addition, the progress that we've made around civil nuclear energy. And I indicated our support for India becoming part of the Nuclear Suppliers Group, the abilities for technologies that are critical to India's development and prosperity being available. And we also discussed in that same context our important work together around the non-proliferation of nuclear materials and technologies that could end up falling into the wrong hands.
MTCR हो, न्यूक्लियर सप्लायर ग्रुप हो, इन सब में हमारे मित्र ओबामा ने मुझे जो मदद की है, हमेशा हमारा समर्थन किया है, इसके लिए भी मैं हमेशा उनका आभारी रहूंगा.
The two countries also decided to start work on construction of 6 American nuclear reactors in India. India and the US also announced the setting up of 2 financial assistance programs worth $60 million for supporting India's much-needed clean energy initiatives, including solar power.
I believe that what Prime Minister Modi has said about this is that India shares the objective that the United States has laid out, which is to see the agreement come into force this year. And India has committed to doing their part, to working toward the goal, a shared goal of entering the agreement this year.
President Obama, who held over hour-long talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Washington, also promised to cooperate with India against Pak-based terrorist groups. The US has also committed to treat the Pathankot attack at par with the 26/11 terror strike in terms of ensuring punishment to perpetrators based in Pakistan. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, earlier, the Prime Minister also met US Secretary of Defense Ashton in Washington on Tuesday. Now, matters related to security were discussed in this meeting. The two leaders had last met in New Delhi in April during Ashton Carter's visit to India. Back then, both the countries had agreed in principle to share military logistics to counter the growing maritime assertiveness of China. Now, Carter's April visit was aimed at cementing defense cooperation in the final months of Barack Obama's presidency. And back home, amidst raging speculation over Rahul Gandhi's elevation as Congress president, the party has officially admitted that a decision will be taken very soon. Now, in an exclusive interview to Rajya Sabha TV, Chairman of the Congress Communication Department, Randeep Surjewala, has said that the issue of leadership change has been deliberated upon and Rahul Gandhi will soon be seen leading the party.
As far as Rahul ji is concerned and as far as next line of leadership is concerned, I am sure we will be able to tell Rajya Sabha TV soon enough that that leadership change has been deliberated upon with great wisdom and caution, and by taking opinion of a few thousand leaders of the Congress party. So it's not decision of only Srimati Sonia Gandhi or only Shri Rahul Gandhi or only a few people. Rahul ji and Sonia ji have taken the care to consult people across the spectrum of politics and across states, and very soon an appropriate call will be taken.
This statement by Randeep Surjewala, who heads Congress Party's communication cell, comes at a time when speculation is rife about Rahul Gandhi's elevation to the post of party president. Surjewala did not give a time frame but admitted that the issue has been discussed threadbare by party leadership, and that the decision appointing Rahul Gandhi as party president will be announced soon. He also sought to dispel rumors about senior leaders being eased out in the new setup.
Either Rahul ji or Congress party means any disregard or disrespect to anybody, much less to people who have served the Congress party for years together. In fact, Rahul ji has deep respect and regard for them and consults most of them, they will tell you, perhaps even on camera, often enough. So there is no disregard or disrespect or easing out of any individual.
Terming the recent spate of resignations by several leaders, including Ajit Jogi, as political opportunism, Surjewala, however, defended Gurudas Kamath.
Please cull out Shri Gurudas Kamath out of the list. Gurudas Kamath ji is a very seasoned and experienced leader of the party. He is very much a part of Congress family. He has resigned as General Secretary of the AICC. He has not resigned from the party. In fact, he issued a statement saying that he deeply respects Sonia ji and Rahul ji and will always continue to serve as a member of our family.
Surjewala also came down heavily on the NDA government, terming its first 2 years in power as full of rhetoric and no work. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, you can catch this exclusive interview with Randeep Surjewala on Rajya Sabha TV at 10 p.m. tonight, and then 10:30 a.m., 1 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. on Thursday. Don't forget to tune in. Well, moving on to some other news. Well, southwest monsoon has arrived in Kerala and Lakshadweep a day earlier than predicted. Now, heavy rains lashed large parts of the state starting Tuesday night. Even though the progress of the monsoon will slack in mid-June, it is likely to hit the coast of Maharashtra in the next few days.
Monsoon has hit Kerala with heavy rains lashing large parts of the state, claiming the life of a 36-year-old man following a landslip in Idukki district. Heavy rainfall started Tuesday night, and the IMD has now declared the onset of southwest monsoon in Kerala and Lakshadweep.
बादलों का जो डेरा है वो काफ़ी बढ़ा पिछले 2 दिनों में, और आज भारी से बहुत भारी बारिश पूरे केरला में देखने को मिली है। 70 मिलीमीटर से लेकर 150 मिलीमीटर तक बारिश कई जगह के आंकड़े आए हैं, और इन सभी कंडीशंस को देखते हुए मौसम विभाग ने आज ये डिक्लेयर किया है कि मानसून ने केरला में दस्तक दे दी है।
Precautionary steps are being taken in Thiruvananthapuram district by restricting the flow of tourists to hill stations like Ponmudi in view of the heavy rains. People are also being advised to avoid travelling on hilly roads after dark. Following its arrival in Kerala, monsoon is likely to hit the coasts of Maharashtra in another 3-4 days. However, the progress could slacken in mid-June. Meanwhile, India's forecasting of the monsoon will soon get a high-tech makeover, with the Met Office spending $60 million on a new supercomputer. The new device will reportedly improve the accuracy of one of the world's most vital weather forecasts in time for next year's rains. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And moving on to the other developing story, well, the controversy surrounding the upcoming multi-star film Murta Punjab continues to get murkier. Now, the producers of the film have moved the Bombay High Court seeking a copy of the order passed by the Censor Board's review committee, which has suggested 89 cuts in the movie and removal of the reference to Punjab in it. Following the censor board's decision, a war of words ensued between the film's co-producer Anurag Kashyap and censor board chief Pallavi Nihalini. Meanwhile, the controversy also took a political color. The opposition has blamed the government for the interference and putting pressure on the board in view of the upcoming elections in Punjab. The Shahid Kapoor, Alia Bhatt and Kareena Kapoor star movie delves into the growing drug problem in Punjab, where assembly elections are to take place next year.
Like I said yesterday we sent him a legal letter asking for the cuts and his official letter from the censor board, and we didn't get it yesterday. Today we went to the High Court. After the first hearing we got the letter.
जो भी पिक्चर में है हमको जो करना था हमने कर दिया. अगर आप लोगों को आपत्ति है या प्रोड्यूसर को आपत्ति है तो हायर अथॉरिटी है जहां पे वो जाए और जाके करके आए.
The fact that this film is about drug addiction and the stakeholders involved clearly indicates that the attempt is being made to protect them. This is not about a film. This is about political interference in creative activity.
ये सेंसर बोर्ड अपने आप कैसे कह सकता है कि ये फिल्म पंजाब को बदनाम करती है? ये तो बड़ी अजीब सी बात है. और दूसरी बात, ये अगर ये कहते हैं कि ये राजनीति है, ये इलेक्शन की वजह से ये फिल्म बनाई गई है. अरे भाई, जो वोट डालनी है वो तो पंजाब वालों ने डालनी है, गांव वालों ने डालनी है. उनको अपने गांव का पता है कि गांव में क्या हो रहा है.
More news from across the nation in Nationwide. The University Grants Commission, or the UGC, today said that no changes have been made in the reservation policy for SC, ST and OBC candidates in faculty positions in universities. It means a 27% reservation quota for OBC will remain as it is at the 3 levels. The UGC's clarification came after RJD Chief Lalu Prasad Yadav's attack on the NDA government, claiming that it was trying to undo reservation. Scores of councillors from BJP-ruled MCD staged a protest outside Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's residence today. They were demanding the clearance of their pending dues by the Aam Aadmi Party government. The protesters slammed the government for calling a 2-day special session of the Delhi Assembly to discuss the working of civic bodies. They say that the move is only intended to defame the corporations. The chairman of the Bihar School Examination Board today resigned from his post for the alleged irregularities in the 10+2 toppers scandal. On Tuesday, a special investigation team had interrogated the BSEB chairman and seized some computers and hard disks. Now, an FIR was also registered yesterday against 4 students and the director of Vishnu Roy College in connection with the scam. The Chennai police today seized a wide range of antique idols and artifacts worth millions of dollars from the house of art trader in the state. Officials of the Archaeological Survey of India examined the seizure and found some ivory statues among the 54 antiques. The age of the idols and sculptures are being ascertained. The Coast Guards of India and South Korea are holding a joint exercise in Bay of Bengal off Chennai aimed at anti-piracy operation and boosting naval ties starting today. Korea Coast Guard ship 3009 along with India's Samudra Pehredar will conduct various exercises before leaving on 11th of June. This is the 5th edition of the Indo-Korean Corporation. And in news at 6, we'll take a very short break. Up next, we'll have all the international and sports news. Stay with us.
Saina Nehwal, the first Indian to win a medal in badminton at the Olympics. The world #2 ranked player is also the first Indian to win the World Junior Badminton Championships and the first Indian to win a Super Series tournament. Saina Nehwal in fact completed a hat-trick Super Series titles in 2010. That same year, she became the first Indian singles player to reach the final of the year-ending Super Series finals defeating two-time All-England champion and former world number 1 Tine Bound in the semis.
This is Kibutu in Arunachal Pradesh, East Point East on the map of India. Kibutu is dangerously close to the Chinese pressure point. In this second episode focused on Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force, we will try to get all the answers as to why this combat army is known as the world's best for jungle and mountain warfare.
ITBP का डिप्लॉयमेंट जो है विश्व का सबसे ऊंचा पर्वतों पर डिप्लॉय किया गया फोर्सेस में से है.
Watch national security, ITBP the secret weapon, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Now, despite Hillary Clinton claiming victory in the US Democratic presidential race, her rival Bernie Sanders has told his supporters that he will go on campaigning. Now, Sanders is refusing to accept the electoral mathematics that give him no viable path to victory, even as experts say that he should join Clinton to unite the party. Meanwhile, Clinton is looking ahead to the November general election as she's intensified her assault on the presumptive Republican nominee, Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton may have claimed her place in history as America's first female presumptive presidential nominee, but her rival Bernie Sanders refuses to give up. Despite the overwhelming odds, the Vermont senator pledged to stay in the race through next week's primary in Washington, D.C.
Next Tuesday, we continue the fight in the last primary in Washington, D.C. We are going to fight hard to win the primary in Washington, D.C. And then we take our fight for social, economic, racial, and environmental justice to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
With her win in the Democratic primary in New Jersey, Clinton cemented her hold on her party's nomination. She went on to win South Dakota and New Mexico, while Sanders found victory in the Montana and North Dakota caucuses. Hillary thanked her supporters for helping her reach the historic moment as she claimed victory exactly 8 years after folding her 2008 Democratic primary campaign against Barack Obama.
We've reached a milestone. The first time in our nation's history that a woman will be a major party's nominee for president.
Meanwhile, President Obama congratulated both candidates, but it was pretty clear who he sided with. The president lauded Clinton for securing the delegates necessary to clinch the Democratic nomination. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, who won the Republican contest on Tuesday, has called for GOP unity.
You've given me the honor to lead the Republican Party to victory this fall. We're going to do it. We're going to do it, folks. We're going to do it. I understand the responsibility of carrying the mantle, and I will never, ever let you down. Too much work, too many people, blood, sweat, and tears. Never going to let you down.
The situation, however, remains volatile in the Democratic camp. Sanders aims to sway superdelegates to support him instead of Clinton at the party's convention in July. However, experts say the Vermont senator is unlikely to succeed in his bid. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. News from Turkey now, where 3 people were killed and several others wounded in a car bomb attack on a police station in Mardin province. Well, the blast of which came just a day after 11 people were killed by a car bomb in Istanbul, ripped through the main police station in the town of Midyat. and heavily damaged the nearby buildings. After the explosion, clashes broke out between the members of security forces and Kurdistan Workers' Party, or the PKK militant. No one has taken responsibility for the attack, but the Turkish Prime Minister blamed the PKK. Now, the PKK rebels, who are demanding a Kurdish autonomy in the southeast region, have targeted police and military personnel in recent months. Turkey remains on high alert after a series of recent attacks, which have increased after a ceasefire collapsed between the government and PKK almost a year ago. And more international news now. Here is the global buzz. An Egyptair passenger plane was forced to make an emergency landing in Uzbekistan after receiving a false bomb threat. The plane en route from Cairo to Beijing carrying 118 passengers was safely evacuated after Egyptair received a call saying that there was a bomb on board. The plane was then searched, but no explosives were found. Four people were killed and dozens wounded after police opened fire at a student demonstration in Papua New Guinea as the riots erupted across the country. The protesters had to flee amid clouds of tear gas and the sound of gunfire. A political unrest has surged in the island nation in recent weeks amid calls for Prime Minister Peter O'Neill to resign over corruption allegations. Suspected Taliban insurgents kidnapped 50 people from a bus and a car as they were traveling from Kabul to Takhar province in Afghanistan. Now, Afghan security forces have launched a search operation in Kunduz province to free the civilian hostages. On Monday, the militants had killed 12 in the east province of Ghazni. Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena has vowed to eradicate the LTT ideology to ensure long-lasting peace in Sri Lanka. Sirisena said that peace between the majority Sinhalese and Tamil and Muslim minorities was of paramount concern to his government. He said that removing the LTT ideology, which was still present locally, was an important step to achieve the motive. Hundreds of trucks were blocked by heavy snowfall near the Chilean-Argentine border north of Santiago. Heavy snow, which reached approximately 1.5 meters in some localities, kept the traffic stagnant. Local authorities said that at least 1,000 trucks were stranded for hours in Argentine territory, waiting to cross over into Chile. Let's now get you all the sporting action. Here is the sports beat. Indian shuttler PV Sindhu made a shock exit in the opening round of the Australian Open at Sydney today as she lost to Korea's Kim Hyo-min 15-21 and 19-21 in straight games. RMB Gurusadat also bowed out in the first round. However, Saina Nehwal, Kidambi Srikanth, Sameer Verma and Tanvi Lad progressed to the pre-quarterfinals. South Africa won their first game of the Tri-Nation Series after defeating Australia by 47 runs in the third one-day match at Providence in Guyana. Now, batting first, the Proteas put in 189 runs for the loss of 9 wickets in 50 overs. In reply, Australia were bowled out for 142 runs despite Aaron Finch's 72-run innings. Now, South Africa's Farhan Behreddin was adjudged the man of the match. Nigerian football legend Stephen Keshi has died of a suspected heart attack at the age of 54. He coached the Nigerian team to the Nations Cup title in South Africa in 2013. Keshi led the Nigerian team that won the Nations Cup in 1994 before narrowly missing out on a World Cup quarter-final place in the same year. Colombia defeated Paraguay 2-1 to enter the quarterfinals of the Copa America. Now, Carlos Bacas scored the opening goal for Colombia in the 12th minute. Later, James Rodriguez doubled in the lead in the 30th minute. Now, David Ospina scored the lone goal for Paraguay. And many experts are predicting that a very small number of travellers to the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro would be infected with Zika. Experts at the US Center for Disease Control and Prevention have projected that Rio Olympics would contribute to a 0.25% increase in the overall risk of disease spread from travel to and from areas with active Zika transmission. Well, that's it from me and my team in this edition of news. Thanks for watching.